Interviewing industry experts is a great way to grow your business and your brand with very little effort. In this video, I'm going to break down into 6 simple steps how you can start your own interview series as early as this week. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Chris M. Walker. I am the owner and founder of Legiit.com, a B2B growth engine that bridges the gap between AI and human talent to grow businesses and Superstar SEO, a 7-figure SEO brand. Over the last 6 months, I have interviewed 31 industry experts and numerous others in the past. I've had a lot of success using this as a marketing channel and gotten a lot of great feedback from my guests and my audience alike on my interview style. So today, I'm going to tell you the 6 steps to conducting successful podcast interviews so you can start doing them too. There is a lot of benefit in doing an interview series, including brand recognition for both parties, sales for the interviewee of whatever their product or service or software or whatever it is that they do, whatever they want to get attention to, commissions for the interviewer. If they have an affiliate program, you'll make a little bit of money through that. It builds a great network and great relationships with other people in the industry, and it provides education and entertainment for your audience. But it will only work if you do it right. Doing it right includes step number 1, know your audience. Like I said before, the goal is to educate and entertain the people that will consume your interview, so you'll need to know what they want, need, and enjoy. If you already have an audience, you likely already know all of this and know what it is. But if you're just getting started, you're going to need to do some research. Go to Facebook groups, go to message boards, go to wherever they hang out and figure out what interests them. Look at what other people in your niche are doing, who they're interviewing, and what topics they cover, and so on. This will allow you to build your dream list of interviewees, which brings me to point number 2. Come up with a dream list of interviewees, people that you're going to interview and people that you really want to interview badly. This step is actually harder than it sounds for a variety of reasons. If you do video live streams and podcasts, you're going to find that some people are absolutely terrified of being on camera and will just say no for that reason alone. You'll also find that some people will tell you that they're interested and then never get back to you or schedule it no matter how many times you follow up. And then you're going to find that some people are just completely unreachable, no matter where you reach out to them, how often you reach out to them, and so on. And then there are some people that are just too far beyond your level of audience for now to consider doing your podcast. For example, I would love to have Alex Hormozi on mine, but he wants something like $50,000 per appearance. So I'm not at a point where having him on would make an ROI for me, and it wouldn't be worth his time either. Those are the challenges. So what that leaves you to look for are people you already have a good relationship with that are relevant to your audience's interests. Those are the easiest places and the easiest people to start with. So what you're going to do is reach out to them, explain what you want to do and how it can help you both, then ask them to schedule an interview. Once you do a few of these and get a bit comfortable, you can reach out to the next level. Either the contacts of the people you've already interviewed or some people that you don't know that well. Now that you have some practice, as well as a little bit of evidence of what you do, the ask will get a little bit easier. So just keep iterating this process until you keep your calendar full and you get some more interviews under your belt. This is when you can start reaching out to people you would like to interview, but you don't necessarily have a connection to, and so on. This part has been hit and miss for me, frankly, mostly miss, particularly on Twitter, where people tell me that they're interested, but then they never schedule. And the thing is, it's imperative to get a good schedule, which brings me to point number 3. Make a schedule, but be flexible. You need to have an easy way for your guests to schedule a day and time that works for them, and try to stick to those days when possible. Think of it like a streaming TV show where your audience expects it to be at a certain date and at a certain time, and so they'll show up for it, especially if you're doing it live. To get the guest to schedule, set up a Calendly or other type of shared calendar and let them pick the days and times that you have available that work for them. Now, having said that, particularly if you're working with different time zones like I am, you are going to need to be a little bit flexible with your guests and work with them on their schedule. I mean, after all, they are doing something for you, so you need to be accommodating. This will help. Having a schedule will also help for your marketing purposes because you can advertise well in advance that on certain date you will have expert speaking on topic. That way people will get excited and will subscribe and make notifications and so on. You should already have this information handy if you have a schedule, and you will, because that is key point number 4. But real quick before we get to that, if you are a business owner and you want to get even more insight on how to grow your online business, head over to legiit.com/dashboard/start. Plug in your website and your email, and we'll give you a free website analysis and dashboard for your business. And if you find that helpful after 7 days, you can keep it for $7 a month. Now, let's get back to it. Number 4 is research your guests ahead of time. Know what their expertise is before you even ask them to be on, then confirm with them a topic they'd like to talk about. If you aren't familiar with that topic, research it ahead of time so you can come up with a few intelligent questions that you can ask them during your interview. Also, research their personality if you can, if they've done previous media or if they have YouTube or other social media. Some people just are natural talkers, and all you'll have to do is prompt them and they'll be off to the races and will handle it all for you. Where other people will require you to make them feel more comfortable and will need you to guide them to make the conversation keep going. For example, I often have guests who English isn't their first language, and they have names that may not be phonetically pronounced. So I always make a point to ask them how to properly pronounce their names. Making them feel comfortable will have them provide better entertainment and education and make for a better experience for everybody involved. Well, knowing their background a little will help too. Ask them ahead of time for their bio, like their biography, so you can use it to not only sell the podcast to your audience, but so you can understand them a little bit too. This will help you structure the interview because that is key point number 5. Structure the interview for maximum engagement and value. I like to do my podcast via a live stream for a variety of different reasons. Number 1, it plays to my personal strengths of improvisation, but it also allows your guests to be there live and ask questions of your speaker that you may not have thought of, and it makes it appointment viewing as well, like I mentioned earlier. Another thing is it gets pushed to the platforms a good bit more by doing it live rather than just uploading it. If you do choose to have a live audience, it's important to wake them up and get them interacting. Now, what I've found works really well is to do a drawing and give away some branded merchandise right at the beginning of the stream. The software I use to do live streams, StreamYard, has a giveaway functionality built in where they can just enter in a keyword, ask the audience to put that keyword in the chat or in the comments, let that run for about 5 minutes, and then choose a winner. This does a few things. It gets people engaging, it gets them excited because people love games and prizes. If you choose a keyword that's related to your guests, it helps them with their reach and their branding and makes them feel appreciated. And all that engagement will get your stream showing up in other people's social media feeds to get even more views and more engagement. Then once the drawing is over, I introduce the guests. And if I have a personal connection to them, I explain what that connection is and how I know them. Then I ask them about their background, their origin story, and what they are doing now. Once you do that, wait for them to finish, then ask questions based on what they said. Asking questions is crucial, and it requires what is going to be key point number 6. Listen to your guests and ask questions based on what they say. This is a big one and will make the whole process work properly. Ask your question, then shut up and listen to what they tell you. Pay attention while they're talking. Let the guest answer, don't interrupt, and again, pay attention to what they say, because you're going to ask them questions based on what they say to build to the next phase of the conversation. Keep doing this over and over again until it runs its course and you're out of questions. Then ask them about the main topic of the podcast that you established with them ahead of time. Then just iterate that process too. Listen, ask questions, and let them respond. Most of the time, this will take up 3/4 of the podcast, or maybe even more depending upon the guest. From there, if it's a live stream, like I encourage you to do, I move to taking audience questions. Now, one tip is to be sure to vet the questions, because some people are going to troll, they're going to ask obnoxious questions or questions that aren't related. Just ignore those, but relay the good ones and let the guest answer. And if you have something to contribute, add your answer as well. After that, give the guest an opportunity to plug or mention whatever they have to promote, assuming that wasn't the main topic of the podcast to begin with, and give the audience a call to action to go buy what they have, subscribe to their channel, or do whatever the guest wanted them to do. Then finally, ask the guest for any final thoughts you have, for any final thoughts they have, and for how they like people to get in touch with them, whether it's email or social media or whatever. You are, and now the great thing is you're almost done, but I've got one bonus point for you that will make your podcast really unique. And that is to wrap up the interview, let the audience know the upcoming schedule of your podcast to start building excitement for them and get them to want to come back. Ask them to subscribe or follow and leave comments. Then remember to thank your guest and your audience for their time. And if you want to get really fancy, you can have a closing tagline. For example, my closing tagline is figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. I'll see you again soon. Peace.